Welcome to another episode of the Online Prosperity Experience podcast. You're about to hear your host, Prosper Taravinga's powerful digital marketing strategies and actionable tactics that you can use right now. Prosper has helped more than 50,000 people from over 10 countries to create meaningful businesses that are profitable and enjoyable. Listen to this podcast so that you too can build your own business with less stress and overwhelm. Let's get started.
Do you know why people actually go to the internet? Do you think it's for them to see what cats have come up with on TikTok, or is that for them to hear the latest political message from whoever or whatever country they're from, or where, or catch up with their friends? People come to the internet to learn, to be informed, and also to buy stuff. Now, one of the things that people actually come to the internet for, which is learning, is something that we can do on the daily. And here's why today I'm going to tell you how you can land more clients and boost your income by actually teaching people what you do, how you do it, and how they can get more from you. You see, I'll take a leaf from Zig Ziglar when he said that help enough people get what they want, then you too can get what you want. And I'm going to be explaining a little bit about why that is very important and how you can actually use it to your advantage in order for you to have a business that's profitable and enjoyable. And I can understand, as a coach, consultant, or small business owner, growing your business is tough. Maybe right now you just got off a cold call and you're thinking, man, I almost got that sale. And maybe the person is like, yeah, send us more information. We want to learn a little bit more about what you do. You see, that's an opportunity for you to be learning and teaching other people basically what it is that you provide and how they can engage with you. Because there we are every single day, maybe sending hundreds of emails without even getting so much of a, hey, thanks for reaching out. Because people don't know what to make of the information that we're sending them, or they don't understand who we are because we haven't taken the time to educate them on that. Everybody's a stranger, but once you get to know, like, and trust them, then people can start doing business with you. All right. So I want you to get out of your head. Maybe you had a bad experience at school, and when I start talking about teaching, all you think of is those wooden desks and dusty chalkboards. I'm talking about school I came from. Our teachers used to dust off those chalkboards, dusters in our heads, and then you walk around with chalkboard dust if you're naughty. So I don't want you to think of it in that way. I want you to think of it in a new way of you actually helping people by actually helping them. All right. So this is the new age of teaching, and the opportunities for you to share your valuable knowledge so you can establish yourself as an expert and then extend your platform to go beyond either the traditional knowledge that people have about your industry, and then they get to know, like, and trust you. And we all know that people do business with those that they know, like, and trust. The goal for you is to actually engage your audience before they start doing business with you. And how do you do that, without you, showing up in their face every single time, asking them to buy from you or showing them what it is that you have done, etc. The best thing you could do is educate your audience. All right. When you provide value to people, they will reciprocate because you would have made their lives better, or you'd have made them see either the world in a different way, or you'd have made them make sense of the world around them. And the only way they can thank you for having done that or helped them achieve whatever it is that you would have taught them is by them either referring work to you or actually buying from you. So a lot of coaches, consultants, and small business owners and a few professionals out there, they offer free consultations. Either you do that in person or online or by phone, and these days by Zoom. And some do courses, like where people can engage with your online course before they actually start working with you. Or maybe they might give lectures, or they might do training or information packs, just so they can put their expertise out there before anyone buys from them. Because let's take, for example, marketing in and of itself. When we work with someone, we want to work with them, for minimum 6 months, just so that, we can actually guarantee the results. But some people don't want to engage with a new marketing person. So how do we then, circumvent that trust issue that people have? We go out there with information either on the podcast or on courses, or we put the stuff out there on social media. All right. The more, you teach people, the more you make it easier for them to understand how you operate or what you do. It makes it super easy for them to then engage with you. You know what I mean? And these days, technology is super easy. Right now, I'm sitting in my office, and all I just have is the headphones, this microphone, and I'm just speaking into my computer, and I'm teaching people, how to make sense of the world around them, so that their businesses become profitable and enjoyable. And you can do this from your own kitchen table, from your own living room. And even if you've got a large platform or a large stage, it is still teaching. You're still imparting knowledge. It doesn't matter where you're doing it from. Okay. So if you're not terrified of a more traditional teaching environment, or maybe you are, and you think maybe that's not the way to do it, you can choose your own method that your audience resonates with. And there's so many options, that you can actually take on in order for you to actually relate to your audience. And the more you teach people, they start asking you questions, and now you have an innate understanding of what it is that you're selling and how people actually relate to it. Because if you're not teaching people, sometimes it feels like no one wants to buy what you're selling. It's not because they don't want to buy from you. It's just simply because they don't understand what you're trying to sell to them. All right. Not a lot of people can understand, certain policies or certain instruments that we sell out there as coaches and consultants. And if we don't teach them or help them understand what it is, then their ignorance is what's gonna cause them not to buy. All right. And each and every one of us already know certain things. That's why we're experts. That's why we're already doing what we're doing. All we gotta do is just make it super easy for our audience to understand us, and then eventually we are providing value. Because you should understand, we get paid in direct to the value that we bring to the marketplace. So if people are investigating about your expertise or whatever it is that you're doing, maybe you are a specialty consultant, like one of my newest clients. I never knew this existed, but they're called an acoustic consultant. They help building, they make, what do you call it, acoustical environments, so that maybe if a company is drilling, they're not making too much noise for the people around them, or they create venues so that they don't emit noise or let noise come in. I knew there was something like that, but I didn't think it was actually a profession. So what we're now working with my acoustical consultant is to really educate the marketplace that, yep, even if you're just doing a podcast like this, it needs to have really good acoustics, so that there's no feedback or any other unwanted noises in your podcast. I didn't even know that was something or a thing. So there you go. Even those people that have got private theater rooms within their household, you see, your theater has all those subwoofers and all that bass, and you don't want that waking up your kids while you're watching a really good movie at night, and if you're Netflixing and chilling with your partner. And that's when acoustical consultants come in, and then they really make sure that your house is soundproof, and you're not, and it's compatible to the people that are around there. I didn't know a job like that existed. Well, now, even I don't think you did, now you do. So the onus is on you to teach people of the existence of the problems that you solve. All right, the onus is on you to teach your audience what to want, because the more they know what to want, the more they can demand it. And half of the time, you're probably the only person that can provide that service. So teaching actually comes in any sort of package that you're creative enough to invent. It could be a podcast, it could be you writing in a blog, it could be videos, whatever way makes it easy for you to relay a message so that at least somebody knows something they didn't know by the time they woke up. And there's some perks to that, because if you help me make sense of the world around me, if you help me insulate my house, so that it's comfortable for everybody else, even if I'm watching or listening to heavy metal music or practicing my drum solo, and I'm not waking up the neighbors or anything else, it creates a very good environment for everybody else, and it actually brings value to the property that you're working on. And not a lot of people know that. So if you're doing something that is exclusive, or if you're solving problems that not a lot of people come into contact with every single day, the onus is on you to actually teach people in order for you to position yourself as the go-to person for that particular instance. Let's say you're a lawyer. Some people just think you take people to court or things of that nature. They don't know that you help them with contracts. They don't know that you help them with debt collection. They don't know that you help them with partnership or mergers, anything else to do with just making sure that there's a signature in a transaction. Lawyers help with that. So if you're not going to be helping your customers understand how else they can make sense of the world around them using your services, then you're leaving money on the table. All right. The more you teach people certain things about what you're doing, you are actually establishing your own expertise. All right. Because no one is going to stand in front of people trying to teach them something they don't understand themselves. And the biggest gift about you teaching people, it actually means you're understanding it a whole lot more, 10 times better. And the more you teach a certain topic or a subject, or really tell people what it is that you do and how you help them, you are actually creating new and different ways of explaining certain things, which will make it super easy for people to understand you. And if you record a podcast like this, or a video, or a teaching instrument that you put out there, this can be shared by people as word of mouth, and you don't have to keep repeating yourself. So not only are you leveraging your expertise, and not only are you leveraging people sharing your stuff and all that stuff, all that comes with that, you are literally creating value that people will thank you for. And the only way people know how to thank you is through their credit card. So when you establish this expertise, people generally assume that you are teaching on a topic that you have relative high level of expertise. If you're not teaching people, then nobody's going to know that you know certain things. You know what I mean? So real estate people, if you're listening to this right now, so many people want to invest, but they're so afraid because of the limited information that's out there and all the doom and gloom that's being spread by mainstream media. So if the onus is on you to go and educate your audience in order for them to know that it is okay for them to actually invest a whole lot more. It's a sad statistic that a lot of people can't lose weight here in Australia or in America, just simply because there's not enough nutritional information out there. What are you nutrition consultants doing? What are you personal development people doing out there if people don't have adequate information for them to make decisions that will help them actually make sense of the world around them? So when you stop getting clients, or if you're not generating any leads, or if your business is not growing, maybe you're not teaching enough. Maybe you're holding back to information, because back in the time, we used to get paid for for information. Who had information back in the time was king, but nowadays, information is a dime a dozen. You just have to Google it. People just need somebody that can handhold them and actually try and disseminate that information in a way that is understandable to humans. And this is where you come in and establish your expertise, because people are not going to think you don't know a certain subject if you're teaching about it. And of course, you don't actually have to be the definitive, maybe expert. You just have to tailor your services to an audience that is comfortable, with receiving that information, and that you are also comfortable in teaching. All right. So here's a few tips on how you can do that. If you're not already maybe giving talks or teaching or having a podcast or some sort of video, just wet your feet by giving lessons for beginners, because you already gone past that stage. All right. But people who are starting, they don't know anything. They don't have a reference point. They don't know where to start off from. And if you're the person that maybe takes their virginity away from, certain things or towards the solution that you're offering, guess who they're going to stick with? Remember, the first cut is the deepest. The first kiss, we never forget it. So if you're the first person to introduce a new subject to people, they will remember you, and they will obviously want to know a whole lot more about you and maybe buy your stuff. Have you ever noticed that when you hear of a subject for the first time, your brain perks up because it hasn't processed information like that, and it doesn't know what to do with it? So many people are moving around subconsciously, they're sleepwalking. And then if you break their pattern with new information, their brain starts to try and figure out, where do I put this information? And before you know it, you have expanded their brain, and only you and your content are going to fill in that void. So if you know that now, obviously, if this is new information to you, then you take advantage and listen closely, because the more you stretch somebody's brain, they're going to need to fill in that void or put that stuff in a box. And that box needs to be filled with relevant and corresponding information. That could be your books. That could be your move, your expertise, your services, your training, your paid speaking, whatever it is. You're right. If you stretch somebody's brain, they're going to want you to fill in that void. Right, and you'll be surprised how much, much relative expertise you actually have, and you already have, compared to the people that will show up to hear you speak, about certain things for the first time for them, but not obviously the first time for you. And once you've delivered a few successful maybe lessons or podcasts, and you start adding your teaching credentials to your resume, people start following you, people start buying stuff from you, people start checking you out. Okay, this actually helps you get new clients, because teachers in general are seen as reliable, ethical, and skilled. Everybody goes to school, so if you're going to be teaching somebody something new, they will definitely stop and listen. All right. Let me tell you something. Even though I don't have any sort of journalism experience myself, I've interviewed a few people, and I've been interviewed by a few experts in their realm, and some people that are already journalists, or some people that are already experts in the media sector. They're actually impressed by the fact that I was teaching people how to get publicity, just simply based on how I managed to get publicity myself. So my, PR qualifications did not come from me actually going to PR school, but by doing. All right. So you can actually start teaching people based on the successes that you've received, not necessarily about you having gone to school, or not necessarily about you having, achieved some sort of qualification or certification to do certain things. They are things that we innately have an understanding for, that we can teach other people, make sense of the world around themselves. Case in point, if you got kids or nieces or people that are younger than you, you could always teach them how to write. You could always teach them how to tie their shoelaces. You could always teach them how to say certain words or how to behave in public, right? So we're already teaching other people to make sense of the world around them. Why not teach the people that will be paying us in the future? All right. And the more you do this, the more people start talking about you, and the more you actually increase your own publicity. I mean, I did mention publicity earlier on, but media begets media. The more you start talking and teaching other people, and people thanking you publicly or in their own little spaces, those that don't know about that subject you're talking about will seek you out. All right. So basically, at the end of the day, bloggers, people that are doing podcasts, obviously this is the preferred platform these days, but there's tons of people out there that want to learn in person. All right, so whatever you are going to be doing, create a platform that is easy for people to engage. Some people want to engage with you face to face. They want that one-to-one consultation so they can address their unique concerns. And there's various modes that you can actually go out there and teach so you can extend your platform. All right, like recently I just created a new product that I never knew existed, which basically within my business, maybe you're already doing this, but I've got a consultation that I charge, okay, for you to get marketing advice from me that is directed at your business, etc., etc. And it's $4.97. Check it out on our website. All right, so that's 2 hours of in-depth marketing assessment of where you are, where you want to go, and what the next strategy can be for you. And usually I take time out to go to the office or to go and see the business in person, just so I can see their systems, look at their reception, all of those things that used for them to generate leads. And then I realized that during COVID, I could actually do this virtually. All right. And now I've got a in-person consultation, and I've also got a virtual price. So because I'm not charging for going to the place, I'm not charging for being away from my family and everything else, I've got a virtual price. So you actually can deliver these presentations virtually, even if it's a conference, even virtual speaking gigs, and you can have a different price point to that. And depending on your teaching styles, maybe the needs and the goals of those that you're teaching, you can actually teach as frequently as you want and in different locations. And because, with Zoom, there's no geographical boundaries. I've done, teaching people in America. I'm teaching people in Canada, all of those things. So make sure that you are just putting yourself out there and you're just teaching as a way of bringing new leads and new clients to your business. Okay, because delivering a presentation maybe at a popular conference can maybe generate for you publicity, but you can also do it with smaller groups. Okay, it doesn't necessarily mean you have to be the keynote speaker that is out there. You just can do it in a group of 4 or 5 people, and eventually just show up for the people that show up for that video. All right. So you can start offering your teaching services as part of maybe an established event, or you can, just offer your commentary so that people can maybe understand events that are happening around them, especially in the media, and if it concerns your expertise. That way, people would not have to just wait until the news bulletin, but they can hear it from you. And it actually creates an opportunity for you to then be picked up by other people as a reference to, whatever points that you would have put, across to them. So some people might be thinking, how can I be doing all this teaching when I've got clients to see, when I've got a business to run? I mean, I can understand. As an entrepreneur, marketing is probably just one aspect of running a successful business. You're hiring and managing new staff, you're balancing books, and, you're driving growth, and a whole lot more that is happening in your business. And it always feels like a constant balancing act where you're pulled in multiple different directions. And at the end of the day, all you really want is to help your clients. Now, how can you help them if they don't understand what it is that you do and what you can do for them? So that's why teaching is a very crucial part. And the thing is, once you have taught, if the thing is recorded, you can literally leverage those recordings. Either you can charge people to access them, or you can give them to new clients so that it becomes part of your onboarding process, or you can actually charge people to have access to your past teachings, and this actually diversifies your income, because a lot of people during COVID didn't have a way of actually making money. So if you've got past videos that you can package together to sell to people that are trying to learn about your industry, you create recurring you create for yourself recurring income, which never existed. All right, because once you've got those videos packaged and you charge for access, this becomes diverse recurring income streams that can skyrocket your profitability and ensure that your business remains 100% bulletproof even during market downturns, global pandemics, and sweeping lockdowns. Because what you would have done there is, you would have actually started to offer, things that you don't need to deliver in person. And once your clients understand and know how to engage with you, you just then deliver outstanding results for your clients and you win their loyalty for life. And customers will definitely start singing their praises to to their families, and maybe, their friends, their colleagues, and, at barbecues, and even strangers on a bus. You know what I mean? See, half of the time when we're asked, how do we get leads, or how are we, getting customers? Some people say word of mouth. Word of mouth doesn't just happen on its own. You need to arm those sneezers so that they can spread the idea virus. All right, people just don't start talking about your business if you haven't taught them how to say it, if you haven't taught them what to say and who to say it to. That's why we always have to be educating our clients so that they can go out and speak our praises out there without us having to tell them. And once you've got content and educational material, you actually develop super efficient management systems and effective teams that can then go out there and spread the word. And your brand and your messaging is on point, because people are not just saying things out of their own head. And pretty much once you're teaching people, you start generating hundreds of qualified high-ticket leads like clockwork. So you never have to rely on cold calling or emailing just to beg clients to work with you. You know why? Because you have expanded their brain. You have taught them what to want. All they're just going to say now is, how do we get started? All right. So look at what you're creating out there. All right. Look at, if you're consulting or training or, creating some sort of information, share your expertise. Let people into your world. Teach them what to want, teach them what to ask for, and teach them how to engage with you. Because half of the sales are left on the table out there just simply because we're not asking for them. We're not telling people what to do next. And if somebody is not informed enough, they won't make a decision. All right. So take, a leaf from what I started off saying from Zig Ziglar, saying, help enough people get what they want, and you will definitely get what you want. Teach people what to want. Teach people how to make sense of the world around them using your expertise. And before you know it, you start justifying their failures, you start encouraging their dreams, and you confirm their suspicions, all through you teaching them, how to make sense of the world around them. So, like I said earlier on, we're all teachers in some shape or form. Like I said, you're teaching, those younger than you, how to say stuff, how to tie their shoelaces. You're teaching them, how to behave in public and all that stuff. So, automatically, why not transfer those teaching abilities into money? Why not transfer those teaching abilities to sustainably scale your business from 6 figures to 7 figures and beyond, so you can establish yourself as a trusted leader in your industry? Because if you teach other people out there, you can simply record that information, and when you record it, you leverage it forever and ever, so you don't have to repeat yourself every time somebody new shows up on your doorstep. Okay. And then you actually start leveraging that expertise to reach other audiences while you're actually sleeping. And you start generating hundreds of qualified leads. You know why? Because people know what to come and ask you for. People now know how much you charge. People now know how much you know. And people now know how you can help them make sense of the world around them. So like I said, we're all teachers in some shape shape or form, and if you enjoy sharing your knowledge with others, you're definitely a teacher. And if you can help people by actually helping them, guess what, they're gonna reciprocate that, with their credit card. And the key is just to leverage your teaching as an asset, as a coach, consultant, or small to medium business owner there. And at the end of the day, once you teach other people, you have created a bond with them. You are that first person to introduce them to a new found knowledge. And guess what they normally would do? They'll go find your books, they go find your other teachings so they can expand on what they've just learned. Okay. And at the end of the day, you're just only creating diverse recurring revenue streams within your business. Instead of just being a consultant or a coach, you now have maybe e-courses, you now have e-books that you can translate, into seminars that people can learn from. And eventually, you've created a business for yourself that is profitable and enjoyable. All right. So tell me, maybe in the comments, or just reply to the email that comes with this podcast. Tell me what you think about this teaching concepts, or if you've tried any of these methods, or if you've seen them in play. Just please share your comments and how they have impacted your career, or how you're gonna implement them. I can't wait to learn from you, and I can't wait to see what it is that you do with this information that you just received today. Bye for now.
Thank you for joining us today. If you have any questions, let's continue the conversation in the Live Long Digital community. Become a Live Long Digital community member today. This community is for ambitious entrepreneurs and small business owners with the drive to take control of the future of their businesses and achieve huge success without stress and overwhelm. As you heard, Prosper can help you by teaching you marketing strategies that work. So look no further than the Live Long Digital community of entrepreneurs and highly successful business owners. Join our community today. Find us on www.community.livelongdigital.com.au. Network with other driven entrepreneurs and find the expert guidance you need to take your business to the next level. www.community.livelongdigital.com.au